you so much for coming today to testify. Obviously, as you know, federal agencies draft proposed and final rules on a regular basis as part of their regulatory analysis that is supported by the underlying rule. That incorporates comments received from the public on those rules. Certainly created by this committee under the Paperwork Reduction Act of 1980, the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs, also known as OIRA, which is a mouthful, is charged with reviewing draft proposals and final regulations from the federal agencies. This regulatory review role is currently defined by an executive order, which is 12866, issued by President Clinton, and Executive Order 13563, issued by President Obama, which reaffirms that Clinton executive order. OIRA is the gatekeeper over poor regulatory analysis, and so it is your agency's charge to certainly look at that, and you're responsible for making sure that those agencies, the regulatory analysis that gets done, are sound, and that the agencies respond to the public in their rulemaking. Obviously, we've seen unprecedented rulemaking in the last few years, and certainly with that, your workload, I would imagine, has increased, so we look forward to hearing from you on that today. Additionally, as we start to look at this particular agency's role and in looking at the analysis and how we go, what I want to hear from you today is truly how we can streamline the process, make sure that the American public has a voice and that they are heard. We have, in reading your testimony, I've looked over your testimony, read much of the background information last night as we were looking at this. And so I want to hear specifically from you, too, in terms of our 90-day time limit, because that has been consistently invaded through either procedural motions, is what I would call it, and asking for the agency for extensions. But this committee truly needs to make sure that we have an open and transparent regulatory rulemaking process. This is the first hearing of this committee on this particular issue since 2011. And so I know that as I'm being joined with the ranking member here to my right, he and I both agree unanimously that transparency and making sure that the American people have their voice in it is certainly one of those things that that we both hold very dear and will vigorously defend. And so I would share all of that as we look forward to your testimony here in just a few minutes.